Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Funding Frontier Deep Dive. I'm your host, Claudio. For short, you can call me Cloudy, with an opportunity, but only if you pay close attention to the show, because today we've got a fantastic guest. Funding Frontier is a wonderful platform, a prop firm that can give you up to 400K in funding to do your thing and go trade and try your best. And the best part about it is it's global. So we've got all people all over the world participating. And today we've got someone very special from Lebanon. His name is Cyril Khalifa. I think I'm pronouncing correct. He is someone that has already made $6,491 off a $50,000 account with Funding Frontier. So that's almost about a 13% gain. So as you can imagine, this man knows what he's talking about. He knows his stuff. And we're going to have him here for you to unpack his tricks, unpack his trades, and for you to learn. So without further ado, to all the aspirational traders, the dream chasers, the side hustlers, Cyril Khalifa.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, how you doing, Cyril? Hi, how's it going? Looking forward to having this chat today. Yeah.
Thank you.
Obviously, I've done a nice little introduction saying where you're from, but for those of you who don't know a little bit about you, just give us a brief introduction.
Hello. As Claudia said, my name is Cyril Khalifa. I'm from Lebanon. I'm a mechanical engineer / Forex trader. And that's it.
I mean, you're making that sound very basic, very easy, just being a mechanical engineer. But of course, whether or not people are making the decisions, if they're going to be a full-time trader or side hustler, your case, you are doing hard work and then you side hustling. That's quite incredible. Before we unpack that, Cyril.
We're going to talk about that during
Yes, before we unpack that. We're going to start off with our traditional trade maker. This is the Funding Frontier version of an icebreaker. And because trading is all about decisions, we're going to flip the metaphorical coin, so to speak. And I'm going to give you two options, a heads and a tails. And you're going to tell us which one you'd prefer, and then you're going to tell us why you prefer it. So option A, we're flipping that coin and it's landing on heads. You have the superpower to predict market movements, but you must eat your least favorite dish daily for the rest of your life. And then option B, tails, every trade you make is profitable, but you can only receive your payouts after tight roping across the Grand Canyon.
I would choose plan A or option A.
So you're okay with just eating something that you don't like at all for the rest of your life?
But I can predict the market.
Yeah? And you can make up for the other versions of eating something you'd really like.
We'll find a solution.
Well, I like that. A man is always finding solution. I mean, what is your least favorite dish?
Eggplant. Anything related to eggplant.
Oh, okay. So the man's going to eat an eggplant for the rest of his life as long as he keeps making profits.
Ready to do it.
I like that. Roll up the sleeves. Right, so we're discussing the side hustling part with regards to you being a mechanical engineer and, of course, doing the trading on the side. First of all, how did you get involved in trading? Why trading?
All right. Let me take you back to 2018. Okay. I was working for one of the biggest contracting companies in Saudi Arabia, and I was making a huge amount of money. We were in the desert and we had extra time, bonus, you name it. But I've always had this in the back of my mind. One day they will let you down. One day they will say, we don't have job for you anymore. Mm-hmm. Or let's say the company went bankrupt. I don't know. So I've always been looking for a second source of income, second stream of income. And honestly, I didn't know anything about Forex at that time.
How long ago was that, though, roughly? How many years ago was that?
2018.
And 2018. So not long ago, and you knew absolutely nothing. Okay, continue.
Nothing. I only knew about charts, and I thought everything was stocks. So I wanted someone to teach me, or I don't know. So I started by, like everybody else, YouTube, Google, and then I took a course here in Lebanon. It was a really basic course. It didn't teach me any, those tricks that you need. It was more like a drawing course, drawing patterns and Fibonacci's, and not my style. All right.
Yeah. Not a visual guy. You're a mechanical engineer.
Yeah. In trading, I didn't find myself in trading in such style. So later on, I took another course with Fibs Don't Lie. He's a good guy as well. But also, I didn't find myself in that strategy. One day, I was talking to my friend, Salim. Hi, Salim. And he told me there's a one guy, he doesn't miss any live stream. His name is Raja Banks. So I went on YouTube and I followed Mr. Raja Banks. And man, he's a game changer.
Yeah.
I took his course and it was a game changer. From then on.
Keep going.
I like the simplicity of the wicks don't lie and how you draw support, resistance, and wait for the market to give you the move.
Okay. So you tried and tested and you saw what is out there and you found obviously Raja Banks, huge starting point here. When you were looking at that and you're applying your background knowledge, as being a bit of a mechanical engineer beneficial in this process of going, cool, you want to learn something new, or is it just something like you've always had this innate sort of characteristic to want to learn new things?
Of course, I've always wanted to learn new things, but let me put it in that way. Being a mechanical engineer or anything else, it's not, how do you say it? It's on the tip of my mouth, but I forgot about it. Anyway, you can succeed in trading without being a mechanical engineer, without being a doctor, without being anything. You can be anything you want. Just focus a little bit, let it be your passion, and you will get there.
Okay. So, I mean, you started off saying, it was so you can be autonomous, not reliant on someone paying your salary, but rather having another source of income. So that was a huge sort of motivation. And that's what drove the passion, right?
Exactly. And then I'm really glad I took this step because in 2019, we had a bankruptcy in the whole Lebanon, and the bank took all of our money, and we were left with nothing. So, yeah.
Cheapers. So all that previous wealth that you accumulated, all gone. And now you started from scratch.
From scratch.
Fluff. And was this okay? That's quite intense. And now you've still been able, so you understand the meaning of true losses. So I suppose that would help you in your trading strategy when you got to cut losses, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I know how to lose everything and start all over again.
Sheepers. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation for anyone else listening in terms of going, starting from scratch and building that motivation, not being defeated by that. How did you overcome that?
It was a stepping stone. When I told you, when I was working in Saudi Arabia, I was making a huge amount of money. We were working overtime, we were having bonuses and all that. Nothing was expensive. Whatever I wanted, I could purchase it. Okay? So when I lost everything, it was option A, cry like a baby, or option B, carry yourself and move on. And I chose option B. So it was a stepping stone for me because I wanted to reach back where I was, not to stand still.
And when we're talking about a huge amount specifically, if you don't mind, what was that huge amount?
10K per month.
Okay, that's not a small amount. So yeah, you're not wrong there in saying huge amount. But in regards to that, I mean, you're talking about quite a solid mindset, a lot of resistance here, saying I'm going to choose to look at this and be optimistic about it. Did you have like a close circle around you that motivated you or encouraged you, or does this just you were by yourself and you just told yourself, you know what, if I don't pull up my socks, I'm going to eat shit for the rest of my life? Is that set the motivation?
It's a whole community. I told you it was across all over the country. So all the people were devastated, obviously, but few people chose to move on.
Jeez, I feel like this is a conversation that can have layers to unpack moving forward. So you get a strong community, you move on. Now you've chosen, obviously, trading for that purpose to give you a potential another option in case that ever happens again. And
exactly.
Apart from all of that, is there anything in particular now that you're currently doing it? And you're on the show because you're one of these successful funding frontier traders. Is there anything that you're chasing now apart from just being, I just want to be stabilized?
What's nice about trading is that you don't wait for anyone. You don't need a client. You don't need a product. You don't need a capital. Of course you do, but there is a lot of options now, like prop firms, like funding frontiers. But that's the beauty of trading. You're on your own. You don't need anyone, and you can make it.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The show is pretty much done there. It's that simple there. Hey, Cyril. No, but I suppose this is, you are officially our third interview. And there are already common themes being consistency. And I know the fantastic picture that you shared with us, your shirt said consistency and being disciplined. And I would imagine that's a huge part of your trading strategy. So let's unpack that and let's start going down the route of what it is that defines your trading strategy. You've spoken about Raja Banks as an influence. And particular, you've also told us one or two things with regards to what that strategy is. But can you tell the people listening what that strategy is on your part?
Okay. People who follows Raja Bank will certainly know what I'm talking about. It's always about patience. You are getting paid when you wait, all right? So my trading strategy is very simple. I just I start by looking at the higher time frames, daily, sometimes weekly, daily, 4 hours, 1 hour, and I draw my support and resistance and pretty much the key zones of each pair. I usually trade gold and GBP JPY. So there are some key levels I stay focused on. And I just wait for a price breakout. That's it.
So you're just patient. You read, you draw the markets. With regards to the price action strategy that you've mentioned, and then you say you modify it. You got your own unique touch. What is that unique touch with regards to this price action strategy?
Yeah, don't risk more than 1 or 2%. But what I like to do is dynamic risk. I start by my first position when I know that after looking at the market over and over again, there are some setups that repeat themselves. Okay, so you can anticipate that it might move the way you want. So I start by adding positions. So it's a dynamic risk. Let's say I wanted to risk 2%. I start by 1%, put my stop loss, and then after it goes into my direction, I add the other 1%, and my stop loss will be at the entry of the first one.
Okay. So if anyone listening can resonate with that, please feel free to ask us questions in the comments, and then maybe Cyril can get back to you with regards to, unpacking that a little further when we are looking at that. So with regards to pretty much doing that dynamic risk, is that when you're setting this up and it's your own individual sort of modification, so to speak, do you use more of the backtesting method or the journaling method? Or because it sounds like you're looking at past data and then you're kind of tweaking it to your own sort of. So are you doing a combination of both, or is there one in particular that you're focusing on?
If my wife will listen, of course, will know what I'm talking about. She always tells me to journal, and I don't journal. I don't know why. I just backtest. I backtest a lot. I use the soft Forex simulator.
Okay.
And I collect data from the previous sessions.
Okay. So that's good. So and then that's how you make your prediction, or that's how you come together with where you're going to risk that 2% or 1%.
Yeah, exactly.
And your wife, I think your wife's probably someone else we're going to have to get on the show eventually if she's a journaler. So we just can see the different methods there.
Yeah.
But is it interesting? Is your wife quite supportive, or does she assist you in any of this, or does she just look from afar and then give her 2 cents? Or
Well, at the beginning, we didn't discuss Forex. But she used to see me invested in charts and on the MetaTrader and TradingView. She started asking, "What is this? What are you doing?" And sometimes I get too angry because one trade went the other direction.
yeah,
But it's okay. She's been a lot. She's been supportive.
so she's a
Whenever-
great soundboard.
Yeah. She's very supportive.
Okay, so I mean
Whenever
that
I'm
we
feeling
discussed.
down, whenever I'm feeling down, she helps me a lot.
Okay, so that's kind of what we were alluding to earlier with regards to having a good support system. But what I find quite interesting is when we're looking back and we're saying, you've already told us you've suffered massive losses before. Now, when we're looking at the individual trades, I mean, one of the biggest challenges is not getting too emotional. And here you're talking about, when I lose, I get upset. I mean, how do you overcome that? Because that's a tricky thing. You've got your wife who supports you, but you've still got to go out there and do the trading. So how do you manage that? And specifically, I think you've mentioned, it's the ego that takes the hit.
Exactly. At the end of the day, I'm just a human. I'm not a robot. And my ego is a big chunk that needs to be cut down. Sometimes I don't accept that the trade might not be in my favor. Maybe the setup was here, but the probability wasn't there. Okay, so sometimes it's okay to lose. It's okay to be wrong. Sometimes I don't agree with the market. That's where my ego comes. No, it should go in your direction. That's when I get some losses. And that's when I get upset. I get upset for listening to my ego, not for the losses.
Okay, but then how do you manage that?
How I manage that? Well, I'm still trying to manage the best way I can, but mostly I just close the charts.
And you walk away.
Yeah, exactly. I go walk my dog.
You go walk it. Is that probably not the strength in terms of when we're looking at strategies and we're going, cool, if I'm going to be trading on a daily basis or weekly basis and limiting myself to the 1 to 2 trades per day, as opposed to getting caught up in the moment or the emotion, was that quite a substantial part to your strategy because of that ego?
Yeah, I've always tried to tell myself, please, only 1 or 2 trades, whether it's a loss, it's a win, it's a drawdown, it's a break even, just 1 or 2. But sometimes I got carried away and I start revenge trading.
Revenge trading? No, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
Is that when you make the worst losses, when you do revenge trading?
Exactly. And then I stop at some big numbers and why did you do that, bro? I just close the charts. I close the MetaTrader and just call it a day.
I like that. Don't get too heated. Walk away. It's almost like being in a passionate argument with yourself and your keyboards and your trading strategy. So obviously that's a bad scenario. But now you're here for a good scenario. What has been your biggest win with your trades? And then how did that play out? Walk us through that journey of you managing that process of the biggest trade and how you felt.
Okay.
Especially in this case. I mean, you walked away with 6,451, I think it is. And look at me. I was just going to round it off and just say $6,500. I mean, walk us through that.
Well, that particular trade was a dynamic risk. It was a gold. If I'm remembering right, it was a sell. Okay, so price made a low. And whenever price breaks market structure and make a low or a high, there's a 90% chance it will retest it again. That's what Mr. Raja taught us. And he is right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the price made a low, went up for a retracement, and made a resistance, but on the lower time frames. I usually don't look at the lower time frames, like 15 minutes or 5 minutes. I wait for the 30 minutes candle to close, and then I place my trade. So I saw the price move down and then move up and created a small resistance on the 5 minutes. So I placed my trade based on the 5 minutes. That was my first 1%. And when the 30-minute closed in the exact same direction I wanted, then I entered my second 1%. So I'm 2% risking in this trade. And then I kept following it with the 5 minutes. Whenever the 5 minutes close, I will slide down my stop loss. And I think on that trade, I made about 7 or 8%.
Jeepers, that's quite high. That's quite good. That's actually, yeah, that's brilliant in terms of managing that. And our key is to track it in those time frames as opposed to saying, I'm going to go exceed that time limit and possibly want to get greedier and make 13% if that's what you're telling yourself.
Yeah, sometimes greed is good. Sometimes it's not good at all. But if you know what you are doing,
yeah,
you know, when I risked that 1%, the stop loss was very tight. So I let myself take this position. I made an exception. Okay. I would have lost 0.5%.
Okay, but in that moment, let's go back to that moment while you're in that moment and it's happening and it's going up and down and what are you feeling when you're going through all of that and you're like, yes, you know, like some passionate sports lovers, you know, when their team wins or something, they get quite excited, and then to calm yourself down again and say, no, it's my experience, not my instinct, that's getting me this trade.
I like that question. Sometimes when you're not 100% sure about your trade, your heart will go boom, 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 boom. Should I close? Should I keep it? That particular trade, I said to myself, trust your instinct, trust your analysis, and let it run.
And that was just based on you going on your back testing, looking at the data, going, I've seen patterns play out before. I know how this is going to go, and I'm sure of myself that this is what's going to happen.
Exactly. That's why I had the confidence to keep it running.
And that's massive. That is massive. And that's built on validation through your previous actions. Fantastic. So for anyone who is afraid to start, remember, starting is important. And it's important just to get that experience under your belt and build that confidence. So when patterns do happen, you can identify them. Am I right, Cyril?
Exactly. And market tends to repeat itself all the time. Just be patient, wait for the candles to print in your direction, and go with them.
And then interesting. So you've used an existing sort of platform that you're looking at. You've taken and that's human nature, right? We're taking trust, we're taking validations through our relationships, and it's those sort of associations with Raja banks, with the Dominion markets, and now we've just found a platform that suits you and works for you best. When we're looking at the sort of platform in particular, and we're discussing the challenge phase and the verification phase, was there one that was trickier for you, or was there you just knew when you started that you were going to be successful regardless, and it was just part of the process to getting funded?
Well, I took the promo 14 days payout, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I put like a small schedule. So I think I started in November. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I took it in November, the November promo. And I made a promise to myself that I need to get a payout before the 14th of December, because Christmas was coming and we needed to buy gifts, and we have
nothing like the fat man in a red suit to put you under pressure when you're trading there. Even though Funding Frontier has no time limit, but yes, okay, let Santa create that time limit. Yes.
So I said, come on, you have this huge opportunity now to make a payout before the 14th of December, and you know the rest of the story.
Yeah, look at that. Again, you make it sound so easy in terms of all of this. Yeah, you had some pressure, so you're clearly very good at dealing with pressure. But again, when we're looking at Funding Frontier not having a time limit, was that also incentive in going, well, that's a little, I can think a bit clearer without the breathing dragon, or in your case, the breathing Father Christmas or Santa Claus?
Yeah. Just give yourself time. This is my advice to everybody, and including myself. Sometimes I feel like there is no tomorrow. Just give yourself time. Time is on your side. Is always on your side. Once you've done with the time limit, you don't think, like you said, there's a breathing dragon. Just go with the flow. Actually, I don't know if we're going to talk about this later on. Right now, I took another 100K challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Please talk about it right now. People need to know. We need to know. There's another 100. So you went from a 50K, now we're on 100K. Okay, yes.
All right. I mentioned before that I will use part of the money to buy a new challenge. So I kept my word. I took the 100K challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of time and moving with the flow, I passed phase 1 with only one single trade. Yeah.
Jeepers. We're going to have to call you Samurai Cyril. Forget about that. Just the golden sword. What?
And
golden samurai sword.
It was gold.
Yeah? It was with gold.
I risked 1%, only 1%, and the trade went absolutely crazy. 75 points.
Yeah. So again, this just speaks to the experience. And you've only been doing this since 2018.
Yeah, I think they will ban me on Funding Frontier.
No, I don't think so. I don't think we've got some good people here in the background. They're going to be supporting you as long as you keep making. With one trade, that's a 1-for-1. I mean, that's an incredible strike rate. People go crazy for that. So what's next? Like after that, what are you going to do now? I mean, that's a 100K challenge. Are you going to look more? Because I mean, there is the potential up to 400K.
I'll try my best to get there. The 400K.
Okay. All right. But then what's your next step now? So you've done that really well. That was successful. It didn't seem like hard work for you, but you clearly know what you're doing. What's the next thing for you?
There's one time, there's a fellow engineer. Mm-hmm. He used to have this wallpaper. You don't pay me for the 30 minutes work. You pay me for the 30 years of experience. He was a senior guy. So if I'm trying to make it that easy, that's because I've been back testing and I've been putting the effort and doing the hard work. Long time to get to this result.
That wallpaper. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at Cyril, a magnificent piece of golden samurai wallpaper who's put in the work. And also, I suppose, what's the advice you have for someone that is afraid of that? Like we get caught up in the day-to-days. We think we have to do something right now. So we get focused on the job that we have, right? But then, tomorrow can come and you can lose your job like happened with you in your case. So how do you prioritize that? You're not going to put so much pressure on the side hustle with trading versus going, I don't have time for it because my bread and butter is me getting paid by the end of the month. Like what's that key piece of advice you'd give someone with regards to that, making that decision? Your case was extreme. I'm just going to say.
Yeah. Just give it time and start with little piece by piece. Start with education, of course. Mm-hmm. Start by your education, backtest, support yourself by a good community, and start building yourself piece by piece. Like Raja Banks said always, start by, let's say this month I'm gonna make the internet bill out of trading. Don't put high risk on yourself, just small pieces, and that's it. You will build confidence, and you will get from internet bill to rent to expenses, off and on.
All right. People listening to Cyril, he is our samurai Lego builder from Funding Frontier, building one block at a time, and that's how you get going, and that's how you land up with your Lego castle of gold. So we're going to move over to the rapid fire section where I'm going to ask you some questions, and you're just going to say, give me your one-word answers. Okay, you ready? And there's no wrong answer, of course. Okay. So first, day trading or long-term investing?
Day trading.
Your biggest trading win?
I told you 7 or 8% on gold.
7 to 8% on gold. Most memorable trading loss?
I can't answer by one word, but it was...
It's fine. Don't feel constrained here. To speak your mind.
I think when I lost a funded account.
Okay. Pre-market or after hours trading?
Pre-market.
Cool, pre-market. And would you hold one stock for 10 years? Yes or no?
Yes, but let me add something to this. Okay. I would like to expand my knowledge on stocks. As I told you before, I only thought charts were stocks. I didn't know anything about Forex or gold or whatever. So I might be joining the stocks community soon.
Okay. For anyone listening who is part of that community, obviously Cyril is part of many communities, but join us here on the Funding Frontier Discord channel and we can have that chat. Maybe, we can cross-pollinate some stocks with other things there. Best financial advice you've ever received, Cyril?
Don't stick to one source of income.
Good. We've touched on why, and that's at the beginning of the show, so go back there if you haven't heard it. Worst financial advice you've ever heard?
Stay employed.
Whoa, look at that. This man, he's rolling up his sleeves and he's hitting some hard hitters there, ladies and gentlemen. Don't stay employed. Okay. One book every trader should read. Of course, they can also just watch a YouTube video by Raja Banks, but we've discussed it enough about him, though. Is there another source of information there?
The $100 startup.
Okay, that's a good one. And then what do you think the future of trading is? Is it more human or is it more algorithmic?
I would say they can never replace a human.
Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is our third interview, and the answer at this point has been the same. Humans are here to stay. Forget about your AI machines and getting intimidated there. On that note, this is a bit of a side note, Cyril. Do you use any tools while you're trading, like to help manage your risk, like magic keys or anything like that?
Magic keys. Only I use magic keys. Yeah.
So you actually use it and you enjoy it?
Yep.
What are the pros and cons of magic keys?
It doesn't run on MT5, the app version. This is a con. The pros, you already know it. It's no other tool can give you this risk management. It's amazing. It's wonderful.
Awesome.
But you can't use it if you're trading on a tablet or a
mobile phone. Okay. So it's largely for people using their desktops and they want to get into trading. Magic Key is an alternative solution or good solution to have. Right, that pretty much wraps up our takeaway. So we're going to move on to the last thing. Wraps up our rapid fire. Now we're going to move on to the takeaway. And the takeaway, you've spoken a lot about giving yourself time. You've spoken a lot about investing in education. Are there any other sort of tips you would give to new traders, experienced traders, or anyone just thinking of possibly flirting with Funding Frontier?
Control your ego, control your emotions. That's it. Yeah. Everything else is just easy and simple. It's just the ego and emotions.
Right. And I think people...
It's okay to be wrong. It's okay not to get every single trade right. It's okay to miss a trade.
Yeah, and I think you also mentioned, on a side note, you go walk your dog when that happens. I mean, are there other possible techniques for people to use? You can go see someone or speak to someone, or, like I said, chat to the community in the Funding Frontier Discord group. What are your future plans, Cyril, in terms of trading with Funding Frontier, and where do you see yourself in the next 2 years?
I really wish good luck for Funding Frontier. They're doing an amazing job. As I told you, there's no market manipulation in their server. I'm planning to take another challenge after I finish this one, hoping to get the maximum capital 400K. And that's it.
That's it. Guys, he's just soaring, but he makes it seem so calm, and that's it. You know, that's how we're going to go about it. I love that, Cyril. And then lastly, where can people find you? Where's the best place to connect with you or possibly follow you? If, of course, you want that. If you don't want that, you can also shoo them away.
No problem. No problem. My social accounts are public. They're not private. And they can find me on Discord. I'm active on the Funding Frontier Discord, but I go by the name Mudrunner.
Mudrunner.
Yeah.
Is there a story behind the name? Is there something you want to unpack about that? Yes. Can we hear about that story? Because that sounds quite interesting to me. Little Mudrunner over here.
Yes. So basically, we're a ATV community, and we really like to dig in mud. So we are the mud runners.
I dig that. Do you have any photos or anything of you doing this?
Yeah, I actually do.
Oh, it'd be cool to check out at some point. So I'm sure, do you have it on Instagram or anything like that?
Yes, of course, on Instagram.
So don't take his word for it. Go look at him and see if he's an actual mud runner. Right, that pretty much wraps up today's show, our third official episode for the Funding Frontier Deep Dive. If you joined us for the first time, we want to say thank you. If you're back for the second time, we want to say appreciate you. And if obviously you're coming back for more than 10 times, like I said previously, that's called stalking. But we like it. Okay, so thank you very much. Cyril, if you don't know what to be cool. And if you want to say goodbye to people watching, you can do it now.
All right. Keep the hustle.
There we go. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers.
Bye-bye.